Have you ever wondered what happens to your assets when you get sick or pass away in Canada? Or how long does it take to distribute money from a deceased person? Or what do you need to do in order to control who gets what part of your estate? So in this video, I will go over the basics of estate planning in Canada so you don't have to pay our government 50% of your saving. Hey, welcome back. This is Thomas, here to help Canadians to make better choices on retirement, wealth, and insurance. My goal is to make sure you can take one or two ideas home and start making smarter financial decisions today. If you find value in this video, consider subscribing so you will never miss any of my videos. Let's jump into it. First of all, let's have a closer look at what estate planning is. Estate planning means passing one's wealth from one generation to the next. No matter how small or big your wealth is, everyone with some assets should do this. Estate planning deals with the important questions of what happens if someone passes away, who will get the assets, does it go to the spouse, the children, some kind of charity, what part of the wealth will be owned by the business, what will be kept as memories, and what will be disposed of. And especially in Canada, if we don't think about estate planning while we are alive, then there's no clarity and disputes will arise, and our governments will step in and could potentially take 50% of your assets away. So indeed, think about our deaths and what happens after it isn't a very comfortable topic, but think about it this way: we work hard all life, so we should be in control of what happens after. Plus, when we pass away, our family will already be in grief. Leaving all the estate planning to them will make things even harder for them. In many cases, it can even divide a family if things are unclear. So, taking care of estate planning, even if you only have one property, if you need help, an estate planner can show you how to structure your estate planning. Now, keep in mind, I am not a lawyer. Everything I share is for informational purpose. Talk to a lawyer to create a will or power of attorney. Estate planning is especially important for business owners or high net worth individuals. It is important because it gives everyone clear rules on what's going to happen with your assets once you're gone. Plus, proper estate planning protects your family, and I will get to that in a moment. Keep in mind, even if you own only one property or have smaller assets, estate planning is still important. If things go wrong, your assets could go back to the government or become a financial burden to your family. Keep watching to find out how to avoid a negative outcome like that. Okay, so what exactly happens if someone passes away? When someone passes away, then they will enter the probate phase. Probating is a process where the state checks if the deceased's will is valid. If you want to know more about what costs await you after your death, then check out my video on this topic. Anyway, in the probate phase, there are lots of things to do. Debt has to be clear, the asset has to be distributed, and etc. And more importantly, you have to cut the check to the government before you can claim the assets. If everything goes smoothly, this process usually takes 6 to 18 months. However, if lawsuits are going on or any other issues occur, then probating can take up to 3 to 4 years. I talk about the fees and the other costs involved in the death in my other videos, but for clarity, let me state them again. The two biggest fees involved in Canada are the probate fee. This is very different from province to province. Take BC for example, is 1.4%, and this can add up to huge fees. The second one is the taxes of the passed away person. The thing is, if a Canadian citizen dies, everything that person owned will be treated as if this person sold all their belonging this year. This can cause a huge tax influx for the family. For example, real estates other than your principal residence, your RSP or the RIF accounts. Let's say if you still have $500,000 in the RSP and no spouse to roll over, then the entire $500,000 will be considered as your income, and therefore 50% will go to the CRA. And that's why estate planning is so important to reduce stress for the remaining family. Now that you know how important estate planning is, let's look at what exactly you can do. What makes estate planning so complicated and daunting is that it's different in each province, so everything I will talk about in the next section is only an overview. If you want more videos about estate planning, let me know in the comments. Anyway, here are the things for you to consider when planning for your estates in Canada. Let's start out with an easy one, your online passwords. It's a good idea to keep a record of all your passwords. You can either write them down somewhere secure or use programs like 1Password, LastPass. Just make sure they are stored somewhere so your family can access them after you pass away. Also, make sure to address what you want to happen to your social media accounts after you're gone. Should they be taken down or keep it as a memory? Making decisions like this on their own can be stressful for your family, so reduce stress like this early by being open about it. Next, we have tax documents and insurance statements. Keep important documents like this in one place so your family can access them. You might also want to have a card with important phone numbers and contacts. Also, don't put these things in a bank vault because your family cannot access to them unless they have clear instructions. Your will is a huge factor when it comes to estate planning. In my opinion, everyone in Canada should have a will. But what exactly is it for? Well, it's a document with instructions for your family to follow. When you create your will, make it clear to avoid any arguments. Also, be aware that you have to name your executor, the person who will gather the beneficiaries and distribute the asset. Usually, people will name the beneficiary as the executor as well for cost purpose. The executor is a serious task. If they make mistakes, other family members could sue them, so pick someone ready for the task. Inside the will, you should have funeral instructions on what happens to your assets, and even guardian choices for minors and disabled members. By the way, in case you're thinking that you can get by without creating a will, let me give you an example of why you would like to have one. If you're based in Ontario, for example, and if you don't have any wills, then only the first $200,000 of your assets go to your spouse. The rest is split within the family. This can be a serious issue if you have kids under the age of 18. In some cases, the family has to document all expenses of the kids moving forward. Even if your kids are over the age of 18, there's still risk. Your kids suddenly get a huge sum of money and there's no control over what decisions they make. In many cases, they are just wasting the opportunities. A proper, clear will helps everyone to avoid tricky situations like this. Also, keep in mind that even with a will, there are laws that you cannot just leave people out. Talk to an estate professional in your province to find out why. While you definitely should have a will, it's also not a magical tool that saves everything. Plus, after probation, it becomes a public document, so don't leave unpleasant comments about your family members. Another big part of estate planning is the power of attorney. This is very important in case you cannot make decisions due to sickness or other reasons. In such a case, the power of attorney allows you to pick someone to act in your name. There are options to make it temporary. When you are out of your country, for example, family members will be able to pay your bills for you, collect payouts, and make other basic financial decisions for you. There are also options so family members can make healthcare decisions for you. If you do that, definitely pick someone who deeply cares about you. Regularly, a power of attorney needs 2 witnesses to be legal and formal, but some institutions have their own rules. And depending on your location, you might need 2 POA. One for health matters and one for financials. It's also a good idea to have a backup in case the first POA passes away or he or she cannot continue the role. Alright, just a couple more to go. The next thing is to name your beneficiaries. This is another important step of estate planning. Naming your beneficiaries makes it possible to bypass probate fees, so it's a clever idea. For example, when you open a RSP or a tax-free saving account in the banks, in most of the time they will not let you assign a beneficiary, so beware of that. When you pass away, most likely your family has to pay your final expenses, probate fees, and the capital gains tax for you before they can inherit your asset. But if they cannot access your estate, it will be hard to pay off. A delay can cause more fees with the CRA. This is where life insurance comes into play. Insurance money gets paid out right away tax-free. This can help your family to pay fees immediately. Also, because life insurance has privacy protection, so therefore it will go straight into the hands of the beneficiaries without any interference or delay. Another component of estate planning are trusts. This is a complicated topic, but it can be very effective for big corporations, real estate investors, or people with a huge investment portfolio. It provides a tax-saving advantage, estate freezes, and can even be used as a retirement income stream for yourself while younger family members work corporate. So as you can see, estate planning is a topic that goes very deep. This is just the tip of the iceberg. If you'd like me to go further in details or you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And I hope you get 1 or 2 ideas out of it. Remember, the earlier you plan, the less you have to pay. This is Thomas, and I will see you in the next video.